weeders are evolving rapidly. Some of them will zap weeds with lasers or electricity, and others will precisely target them with herbicides. AgriPass, in contrast, reckons it can pull weeds out the ground with the precision of a human hand.
And what we do is human weeding at the farm scale. Because we know today there's a lot of labor shortage. We also know that the current solutions got to their limit, resistance from the herbicides, erosion coming from tillage over time. But the people don't want to come and work anymore in the field, and they are the most important resource that we have. We're replicating this and making it easier to adopt, affordable to adopt at a scale. I think that the key thing you have to ask yourself is, how is it different between a person to a brute force automation? So brute force automation will try to keep a blade in the soil, doesn't care what it cuts as long as we have the crop safe, right? Which is great, but it still creates issues with the biome and others. While a person would come and say, okay, this I need to pick and this I don't have. This is the difference. We do selective action, which is adaptive to the real-time situation in the field, and the changing, because I can come one day when the soil is in one situation, and the second day it's actually wet. Different weeds will need to have different action. If you have something which is just automation, you will take the entire action, 5-inch, 3-inch, steady. We don't have to. We can do 1-inch, 3-inch, depends on what we have there. We are keeping everything intact and just turn selectively the weeds. You're using precision in a way that you use AI for contextual analysis, but you do it to replicate the way an experienced farmer would analyze. An experienced farmer would say, all right, this is a good weed, Elysium for instance, I want to keep it. This is a wide leaves weed, I will cut it this way. This is a grass weed, I need to go deeper. So this is the real-time understanding and the real-time decision-making we're doing in the field. And then we're using robotic arms to actuate, so actually to do a hand hoeing, and they all work independently. So they have them stacked, but it's like playing the piano, so each will go by its own. First, we decided we'll go for the small, medium farms, right? We can give them access to high-end technology to solve a real problem and to help them get in their margins. Second, we understood that we want the crops to be vegetable crops or high-value crops because they have more cycles per acre, they have more weeding per year, and they really need a solution for labor working around the crop with crop proximity. And the third thing that we saw is that we can start by applying to the regenerative organic, which cannot use herbicide or cannot till heavily, and then move to the others. We're aiming at the first phase at least to support multi-crop operation, because if you're regenerative or even you're just a farmer for vegetables, you're going to have multiplied type of, you have summer squash, you have winter squash, you have different types. So the idea is to support as many as we can on a farm. We started with the brassicas, it's easier for us until you get the real precision for the density crops. Tomatoes, huge market. Processing tomato is really huge around the world as well. Then we have the squashes, the melons immediately, and we'll move next to the beets, the onions, and the carrots, and the high density kind of elements, because we need different actuation to support them. So this could be autonomous, this could be electric, this could be hybrid, but it doesn't have to be today, and it doesn't mean that I need to do it. So I'm focusing on making mechanical hand weeding at scale. The chassis that I would need to use, we're taking it from an OEM now, something that off the shelf. Tomorrow we can take something else, and this is the thing. So I think the world will go to some kind of autonomous. I think the world will go for electric. I don't think that the farmers can adopt it now fully.
How much training is required for a new crop?
We started by taking a few months. It went a few weeks, and now it's a few days, because we use annotation which is smarter than previously. We move between the different crops, and eventually we'll have an understanding of what is a crop. It will take less and less time to adopt a new one, but we're relatively efficient with it. So ROI is always about an alternative cost, right? Current cost, if you're organic, would be around manual labor mostly, so that will be up to a year on average. If you use inputs and you're conventional, it will be between 2 to 3 years.
What is your business model?
We sell, and then on top of it there's going to be a subscription for an application that will be kind of agentic, where the farmer can check what are the exceptions in the field. If we have new weeds that are telling us a story about what's going on there, if the crops are fine and so forth, there's going to be additional data layer that is connected and the farmers will be able to enjoy. So mostly sales, but wrapped with other services as well.
And what about the manufacturing and scale-up process?
So everything is now in one place when we manufacture and make sure everything's fine. This year, in 2027, we're going to have regional support. Part of our strategy is to work with OEMs, regional OEMs. So we already signed for Europe with Field, we announced it. They are a partner also for the chassis, they are a partner for something with AI, and they're also going to distribute in some countries in Europe. The same we're going to do for the US, currently have different discussions, and Latin America and others. So first we work with farmers today, but the end game is to manufacture and get to the market through OEMs and strategics. When we brought the solution, just in the second season of trials, we got out of there with bookings. And that's the big thing, because we have people that believe in the product, saw it in running in the last summer and already booked. We actually advanced our plans there. And the next level is that we keep improving this loop. We're always in the field. We have 3 units running, Italy, Georgia, California. We always want to be where the season is. We always want to be where the farmers are. We always open markets, and the idea is to leave a service provider, to leave a local distributor, to take the market further. And yes, I think that the highest progress is to get into bookings and into traction so fast.
What are the biggest barriers to adoption?
Other solutions cost a lot, that's a problem, but this one is affordable. It's less than $200,000 for a farmer. That's something that they can adopt. They just want to know that it's working from people that they trust and believe. Once you do that with your partners and you create these partnerships, then it's easier. The idea is to learn from what happened in the past decade from AgTech, which is so important for all of us, for our food security, and to see what didn't work and learn from it. So autonomous, not for us, we'll focus on the core. When it's ready, we might go to that for that. Chassis, I can buy off from another OEM or something. I don't have to develop wheels and engine, it's already existing. Yes. Big machines for 20 feet, let's prove it on 6 feet and then expand, right? If we have cameras and hands and so much multidisciplinary technology, let's prove it small and then expand. So everything is very pragmatic, everything is really practical, not just over the top. And I think the last thing is to decide who is your ideal customer. I've been doing enterprise sales before. It takes 18 months, and you need to come with a proven solution. Otherwise, the stakeholders are not going to sign off for this. This is a lot of risk. While the smaller farms or the small buyers have more flexibility to adapt, to expose, and so forth. And if you come with a smaller solution fit to purpose, it's easier to adapt. The making decisions, you have less decision makers in the process. You have less proof in the pudding to do. You are proving, but you don't have to convince so many people in the process. And it doesn't have to be fully robust like it is when you sell to a big farm. It doesn't have to be so big like you said. And what happened out of it, because of the business side understanding, is that we said, wait, we also interviewed small, medium farmers and said, they have margins, they have willingness to pay, they do not have high-end technology because they always get it last. So everything clicked.